Hey everybody, Scott Jones here. I'm back with another edition of How to Beat Your Addiction and Live a Quality Life with John Giordano. And John, welcome back.
Well, Scott, thank you very much. And thank you. I hope all of you are listening.
I hope so too. A lot of good information here. But before we start on what we're going to talk about, I want everybody to get to know you a little bit, John. And you've been doing this, helping people for a very long time. Why?
Well, somebody helped me who I didn't even know to get clean and sober. And to me, I didn't believe in any of this. I thought this was baloney. You know, talking to people, going to, I didn't even know what treatment was.
Right.
You know? And to me, if you went to treatment, you were weak in the head. Well, I didn't realize I was weak in the head.
But you grew up in a place where asking for help and doing those kind of things was a sign of weakness, didn't
Yes, yes. And the bottom line, I was in total denial. That's like most of us. I'm okay. Maybe I did a little bit too much. I'll cut back. I'll change direction, or I'll change drugs. That one didn't hurt me as much as the other one. The baloney that we say to each other.
Right.
And what I learned was, when they said, John, you're afraid of a lot of things, I says, I'm not afraid of anybody or anything. What I realized was I was afraid of everything and everybody, because I didn't want anybody to know that I only went to the 9th grade, that I couldn't spell very well. I thought the way I sounded was like an aborigine from New York.
Right, right.
I didn't like my voice. I didn't like a lot of things, but I never told anybody that, of course. And, to look at me, you would never know that, because I didn't come across that way. Like most of us, we have that other face that we put up. But, what I did was, after treatment, I really got excited about helping people, because it helped somebody who was so resistant, because they did an intervention on me. That's how I winded up in treatment. And I says, this is unbelievable. It's everything I thought it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of things. So I went back to school, because I only went to the 9th grade.
Right.
And I started learning about addiction treatment. And I've been doing this for quite a long time. And I got together with Dr. Blum, who's the geneticist who found the addiction gene. And now currently, and it's almost comical when I think about it, here I am, I'm working with scientists and researchers from 30 universities. I mean, I'm a kid from the South Bronx. I mean, what am I doing with these guys?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy that it's taken you to this place. But I know you've also always had the philosophy of do the right thing and everything else will work out. I mean,
right. You just never give up and you keep moving forward. And here I am. I lecture internationally, and I'm lecturing to neuroscientists, researchers, and psychiatrists and psychologists. And here I am lecturing to them. If my father, who used to sell drugs, ever saw me doing what I'm doing, he must be rolling around in his grave. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he ever would believe that I would go or get to where I am today.
Right.
And thank God for the self-help programs, for therapy, and for all the things I learned, which I want to share with you, okay, on how to stay clean. I only had one white chip, means I didn't relapse since the first day I got into recovery. And whoever would have thought,
Did that surprise even you?
I'm still in shock.
Well, John, that your story actually brings us right to the point of what we wanted to talk about today, which was precursors, causes, and triggers for addiction.
Right.
What are the things that are behind the addiction? We could talk all day about addiction itself, and we certainly will in other shows cover that, but there's a lot behind that. And I think you mentioned, you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. You were talking about being insecure. Did that feed your addiction, those insecurities you had as a child?
Well, it feeds it covertly. And You know what? Really, the precursors, especially during COVID-19,
Oh, wow.
what's
Yeah.
really going on? You got boredom, you have loneliness, you have anxiety, you have stress, you have depression. And what do people do? Not just addicts, almost all people. They look for a substance or a behavior, okay, to quell those feelings. And some of it works temporarily, and you just go deeper and deeper and dive deeper and deeper into all this stuff.
But there are some healthy. I mean, some people do turn to healthy habits or healthy distractions. Certainly,
Well, you see,
like exercise and different things like that.
well, here's the deal. The deal is this: when you're home and you can't go out because of COVID-19, let's say, oh, you're afraid to go out and see, like for instance, myself, my wife has a kidney transplant. So I not only have to worry about her going anywhere, I have to worry about me going anywhere because I can give it to her. She gets it, she's dead. Well, possibly dead. Let's put it
Right.
that way.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is that it's all about attitude and gratitude and being grateful for where you are at the time. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh man, I hate staying home." Look, I finished my book, staying home, writing another book. I exercise. Uh, my wife and I have meetings together because we both are recovering. We go on Zoom and we go to meetings on Zoom. Uh, there's so much stuff, and doing our best to eat as healthy as we can. Do we eat healthy all the time? No, I'm not going to tell you I do. I don't. Sometimes I like to splurge.
Yeah.
uh, and then what I did was I also went back to therapy a little bit just to work on some issues that were popping up
Sure.
because, just because you have a lot of years of recovery doesn't mean things are not going to pop up in your brain.
And it's funny that the sitting still, those things pop up even faster, and they kind of like come up on you when you're sitting still and being calm.
Being alone in your own
Yeah.
head is like walking down a bad street.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we could do. See, what happens is a lot of times people wind up eating themselves to death. Okay, food is an addiction also, can be. If you overdo it and you look at your body and you start getting severely overweight, which causes other diseases. Okay, you mess up your microbiome, which is your gut. Okay, and when you do that, you have to think about that because what happens is that's where autoimmune diseases come from. There's so much science coming out there. Science, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of the science, okay, that we already know, which you're going to learn if you keep listening to this show, okay, because where I went is where the scientists are learning about this disease.
Right.
Okay, and by the time the information with all the research and all of this experimentation comes down the pike, it's anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 years before we get it. I mean, there's stuff out there most people don't even know exist. Like they're doing gene splicing.
Mm-hmm.
They're changing the way the gene expresses itself. Oh my God. They're looking at how depression comes about. They're looking at, how addiction comes about. So they're looking to change those genes. And there's a lot of work being done with that. There's a thing called CRISPR. Okay, it's a tool for slicing genes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really like, whoa, this is really like the 21st century.
Right.
And it's proven that if you treat your gut properly with probiotics and prebiotics and enzymes when you eat, okay, you actually prevent yourself from catching a lot of diseases because you're building up your immune system. And you know what's interesting? You don't hear them talk about building up your immune system too much with COVID-19, which I'm very surprised that a lot of these people are not doing.
Well, I think when you're talking about those kind of things, it takes money out of pharmaceutical. And Big Pharma would prefer people not build their immunities because once you do that, you don't need Big Pharma as much anymore. So, I mean, it could be a conspiracy theory I'm talking about.
Well,
I don't know.
for those out there, all I can tell you is this. Make sure you do D3, okay? Very important, okay? Make sure you're doing zinc. Make sure you're doing vitamin C. Make sure you're doing what is called cordyceps, and that's mushrooms. Not the kind you get high off of.
Wait a minute.
Not the kind you get high off of. And these things are also immune boosters. And by doing immune boosters, okay, you're getting your army inside of yourself to protect you, okay? If you're overweight, if you're not exercising, if you're sitting down feeling sorry for yourself and you're causing yourself to go into depression, and you're destroying your immune system. So when Mr. COVID-19 comes running around, he has an open door. So if you want to protect yourself, you really, really have to do the exercise, take care of the microbiome, which is your gut, all right? Read some literature. This is a time to educate yourself on how to make yourself healthy. Listen, having a lot of money, okay, makes life a little easier, or a lot easier, or whatever you want to call it. But if you're not healthy, all you're doing is giving it to the doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? Okay? So what this podcast is about is to start teaching you what you need to do in order to stay healthy. Never mind addiction, to stay alive. Let's put it that way. Okay? Because if you're not healthy, all right, disease comes walking through that door. Whether it be through addiction, whether it be through anxiety, whether it be through depression, COVID-19, diabetes, high blood pressure, whatever it may be. Okay, when I wrote the book, okay, How to Beat Your Addiction, this book right here, and live a quality life, that's what I was talking about. I'm not just talking about not doing drugs and alcohol. Believe it or not, that's the easy part. Okay, I know that may sound a little ridiculous to some people trying to quit, but when you start getting rid of the drugs and alcohol, now you have to learn how to live life on life's terms. And Scott, that's the difficult part. It was really, really hard. Like me being a drug dealer, okay, and having that lifestyle, after I quit the drugs and alcohol, what really was difficult was I had to give up the lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the difficult part, more than the drugs.
Yeah.
Which was like crazy. But it's just like girls that become dancers in strip joints. Once they start making that kind of money, very difficult to make a transition back to a regular job.
No matter how much you hate what you're doing, you still want the benefits of it, so you keep being drawn back to it.
Well, you
can hate the lifestyle,
right.
But you're drawn to it because it becomes such a big part of you, right, John?
Exactly. And, in what addiction, it attacks every facet of our life. And we don't even realize it. For those out there that are suffering and think there isn't any hope, it's not true. Don't believe that. Please don't believe that. You're looking for like a kid like me, okay, that come from the South Bronx, that was in gangs. My father was a heroin dealer, on and on and on. And we all have our stories, drug addict, selling drugs, doing collection work for the smugglers, doing all this crazy stuff that we do, okay, while you're using and stuff, and then living another life, being a martial artist and in the world of karate and, working with the police department. I used to teach the police, special forces and all of that. That's my other life. And then there was this life with the drugs and alcohol and all the collection work and all the stuff I was doing. Like most of you we live a double life,
Mm-hmm.
And thank God I'm only one person today. I don't want to be that double person, because what happens is that it starts to collide with each other. And for those of you out there that think that you can't change, don't believe that story. Please don't. There's a lot of us that can change, but it takes work. Knowledge is power, but action is where it's at. All right? You can understand about this disease. We could talk about it all day long. You can get all the information, but if you don't get off your butt, forget it. You're not going to get anywhere. Okay, and that's the truth, and that's why I'm out there. I'm tired of seeing people die. I'm tired of going to funerals. And today you can't even go to a funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even go to a funeral. If you have a family member dying in the hospital, you can't even see them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a bummer today what's going on. But we'll survive one day at a time. I say one moment at a time because that's what it wants to be.
Now, John, you talked about nutrition, you talked about healthy lifestyle and changing and doing all that, but it sounds to me like there's a common thread through all of that. If you want anything to happen, is you have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. You can't just do it once and expect that's going to change your life. You've got to stay on track and on path, right?
Well, it's like working out. You work out for a month, all right, start getting in shape, then you say, oh, I'm in shape. I don't have to work out anymore.
Oh, I don't even get, John, I don't get past day one. I go in for one day and I walk out feeling wonderful. Well, really hurting a lot, actually, is the truth. And then I walk out and it's like, it's hard for me to go back the next day.
Yeah.
But I'll never change. I can't change one time. You can't eat one healthy meal and then shove a pizza down your face and expect that you're going to be okay.
Look, you're not going to do this perfect. I understand that. No one does it perfect. If you meet anybody that's perfect, let me know. I'll stop praying to them. Okay? The bottom line is this. Look, we're all struggling our own ways. And if you reach out and get help, okay, and do what's necessary as best you can,
Yeah.
okay, we're not saying you have to do every single thing. It'd be nice if you would, okay, but realistically, see, we're feel-good junkies. If I start feeling good, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. But you have to go through what we call the circle of fire. It's like working out, like you said about the pain. Once you get past that pain and you start seeing your body changing and you start to see have more energy and you start to see your brain fog is lifting, you say, you know what? I think I like this. I want to keep doing it. And what happens is that you get hooked on that.
Yeah. Actually, that's great. And I want to ask you this question, John. Can you or can an individual become, let's not use the word addicted, but become drawn to or want something healthy as much as they wanted the old stuff? Is it possible to create healthy habits that fill you and fulfill you as much as that old stuff did?
Absolutely. Okay. But you know the difference is? It's not like take this pill and all of a sudden I feel okay. Okay.
It's not immediate. Yeah.
No, it takes time. How much time? It's up to you. Okay. But it's a little bit by slowly. You see, the problem with most people, they're impatient. They want everything yesterday.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And that doesn't happen. It took you a while to get sick. It takes a while to get better. It's a process, not an event.
Yes. And I think that we become attuned as addicts and alcoholics to instant gratification. Immediately take away my pain. Immediately take away my problem. Immediately send me into oblivion. Immediate. Then you get out in the real world. It's like, okay, well, over time you can build these things. How does someone go from that instant gratification lifestyle to a lifestyle where you have to take your time, work, and be persistent? How do you get there?
Well, this is what this show's about, okay? We're going to go with different subjects, okay, and show you how to transition out of where you're at, okay? And it's one little step at a time. It's just like you're building a house. You build a good foundation and you go from there. And once you do that, okay, things start to change. Sometimes you run back into the old behaviors because they're comfortable. Then you'll have to go forward again. You don't have to run back, but some people do. Everybody's different. No one's the same. There's no one shoe fits all. And that's not what this show's about, okay? People get bored very easily. Like we do this show, we don't do it more than 28 minutes, a half hour, because people turn off. All right? We can't sit still long enough to listen, even though it's something we're interested in.
Yeah.
So we make this short little burst for you so you can start to get a handle on this stuff. One of the major things that you can start off with, people say, well, I can't get to the gym because the gyms are closed. So now the gyms are open. I'm afraid of catching COVID-19, which is understandable.
Sure.
There's such a thing as push-ups, jumping jacks, stretching your body at home, watching a video at home and following the video. Don't baloney yourself. If I had a shotgun at your head and I said, Figure out how to exercise for the next hour right now. I promise you'll get inventive. It's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, we make excuses for excuses for excuses. Stop with the excuses already. All right? Just keep doing what you need to do to get well. Focus on your health. If you focus on your health and your well-being, depression doesn't occur, anxiety doesn't occur, okay, as much. None of it occurs as much. Exercise is very, very important. So let's talk about exercise. What
All
does
right.
exercise do? Okay? And I'm not talking about a slow walk. You have to have where your cardio, your heart starts beating a little faster. Not that you're out of breath, but at least you're breathing a little harder. Okay? So you get all those hormones to change. All the energy in your body starts to come alive together. Remember, years and years ago, okay, back maybe in the 1600s, 1700s, 1500s, people had to go to the creek and get water. They had to walk. It's completely different. We become so sedentary that we don't even move. Even me. I got Google in my house. Google, turn on the lights. The light switch is 2 feet from my finger. I mean, you get so, it's true. You get so stupid sometimes, you know?
Yes.
And it's like technology has made our life easier, but it also has an adverse.
It's created this kind of malaise, this laziness about us.
Right.
You know, everything's at your fingertips. You don't have to get up to do anything.
You go to the store and you can get products from all over the world. Okay.
John, you don't even have to go to the store anymore.
No.
You can go on your phone and
Well-
order it and the groceries are delivered. You don't even have to walk out of the house.
Well, that's what we do.
That's
You know, we do that. You know.
yeah. But with all of that, and you talk about exercise, is there any tricks or any things that you've learned to kind of catch yourself when you do start making excuses? Because at the beginning, we make excuses, but we don't know we are because we're so adept at kind of getting out of doing things.
You know, it's creating a good habit. Okay. You pick a time of day that, you know, you feel like you can do this exercise. Everybody says, I'm too busy to do that. I'm too busy to do this. Are you too busy to live? Are you too busy to...
Well, let's fix that right now. How much time each day should somebody exercise?
Okay, you start off with 10 minutes.
Wait. 10 minutes out of a day.
10 minutes.
So this is
Okay.
going to be very difficult for anybody to say, I can't find 10 minutes.
Right. You
I
start
like
off
that.
with 10 minutes, and you increase it to 15. Eventually, you may get up to 45 minutes to an hour, which is great. And people say, well, how many days a week? Start off with 1. Go to 2. Ideally, you want to work out at least 5 days a week. It's a process. You don't have to jump into 5 days a week, okay? What you want to do is you want to do a little at a time, vary your exercise so you don't get bored, because we get bored easily,
Right.
okay? Start looking at the way you eat, okay? Watch out for all the carbs, especially sugar. You know, and a lot of people don't understand. People that have cancer, they start eating they're eating sugar. Cancer feeds off of sugar. A lot of people don't know that, and that's a fact. So you want to be careful with your sugar intake. All right, very paramount. Look, I'm 74 years old. So far, thank God, I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes. I don't take any medications. Okay. None of that stuff. So far, I'm not saying that it can't happen tomorrow or the next day, but I do my best to keep that back without attacking me. And that's what, and I'm always looking for new things to help me with my health. Because I learned, you know, I have friends of mine that they have a lot of money, but they're miserable. Miserable. They go into the doctors all the time. Where you going today? Oh, I got to go to the doctor. Where you going today? I got to go to this dentist. Oh, where you going today? I got to go here. I got to go there. I don't want to do that. Okay? I go to the doctor when I need to. You know, I talk to my doctor, but he's also an integrative doctor, which is like a holistic doctor, comprehensive doctor. And we discuss my care. Like I was getting a little sick the other day because my wife got sick. And I called him up, and he says, look, I don't want to put you on antibiotics because that messes with your gut, as you already know. He says, take double up on your vitamin C, double up on everything, which I did, and I feel better.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time. A lot of water. People don't drink enough water. I have problems drinking water.
Yeah.
Okay? I got to fight to push myself to drink water. If you don't realize water is so important, we're mostly water in our bodies. So water is extremely important. Actually, if you don't drink enough water, your brain shrinks. Go look it up. Okay? I don't need my brain to shrink anymore. Somebody's shrunken. I feel like a shrunken head.
I wasn't going to say a word, John. I was not going to say a word.
I knew it was coming. and you know, you drink enough water, it helps you lose weight because you're flushing your system out.
Right.
The toxics that we have in our air, in our food, in almost everything we touch, these different chemicals, the clothes that's made out of certain chemicals, they leach out chemicals into our atmosphere. Okay, we're breathing that stuff in, and drink enough water, it cleanses you. You should drink at least three quarters of a gallon of water a day. At least.
Yeah.
3/4 of a gallon of water a day. And you got to be careful of your water supply. I know this sounds kind of crazy, okay? And, you know, make sure your water supply is good. If you're drinking bottled water, make sure you're drinking, you know, sometimes there's bottled water, they use tap water and they put it in a bottle.
Yeah, it's
know.
almost better to get filtered water
Right.
than
It's-
it
for
is
some
even
people, it's
even
hard.
spring water. It's not, you don't know
Right.
what's in there. Filtered water is the best to do if you can find a good brand. John, most of these brands have their assays and everything online. You can go and look, and they'll tell
Right.
you how their water is.
Do
and see
your
the reviews.
look, just like you do
Research.
your drugs and you want to get
Yeah.
the best drugs, get the best water.
Yeah.
It's that simple, okay?
Yeah.
You know.
And it'll surprise you. It's not always the most expensive. Sometimes the real expensive water isn't that good.
Right.
It's generally, I think one of the really highly rated water, Kirkland water from Costco, is very highly rated for being clean and for being fresh and stuff. Yeah, fresh water. You would know. Who would have thought we'd be talking about
Water.
yeah. When I was a kid, we drank water out of the garden hose,
Right.
coming right out of the house. Didn't even think about it. You know, the only water we didn't drink was the pool water because, you know, everybody peed in the pool. But,
This
you know,
is true.
It's true.
So, what you're going to learn in the show is different things that you can do to feel better, to stay off, you know, the block anxiety and depression and boredom. You know, when people tell me they're bored, I tell them because they're boring. Look for things to do. I get bored too because I'm boring. So what I did was I got unbored by keeping busy. You know, and my thrust of my whole life has been, or at least half my life, I guess, is helping other people. I love helping people. I get high off of that. And that's what I truly get high off of. And it's not about making money. It's not about doing any of this. It's about giving back to the community. And that's why we do this show, to give back to the community, to help people less fortunate than we are. I know when you're in that deep depression and you don't want to get out of bed and you put the covers over your head and life seems like it sucks. And, you know, and sometimes life does suck, but, you know, that doesn't mean you have to. All right? And the bottom line is that things pass. Things change. And you just got to keep moving forward. And the main thing is never give up. I wrote this other book, The Kid from the South Bronx Who Never Gave Up. It's my life story. And the reason I did that was I'm really tired of hearing about my friends and clients and people I know that are dying. Left and right, they're dying. There's 52% increase in ODs. I mean, it's horrible what's going on out there. This COVID stuff has brought out not the best in people. Well, yeah, some people.
Some.
Okay.
Sure.
But for the most part, the worst in people. And people are angry, they're nasty, we're irritable, and especially, you know, I feel bad for the people that have young kids. And then when the schools were closed, you know, Oh my God, to have kids running around and have to be attentive to them all day long. Plus, you're not working. Plus, you're worried about money, and you're fighting with the wife or the girlfriend, and it's like living in a mental institution, you know. So you got to find healthy ways how to deal with this stuff, and that's what this show's about: teaching you healthy ways to deal with life on life's terms, and how to live as best we all can a quality of life. You know, it's not perfect, but it's better than the alternative. Because if you're doing drugs and you're drinking and you're doing other behaviors and eating yourself into oblivion, what you're doing is on a road to destruction. And you don't need to be that way. You really don't. You know, listen, I've been through this. I have friends of mine that are in recovery for a long time. And oddly enough, when I wrote this book, I interviewed 200 addicts and alcoholics,
Right.
and people had eating disorders and things like that. And I wanted to know what they did to stay clean and stay away from those behaviors. And I put that in the book. And then I wanted to know people that relapse constantly, were miserable. I wanted to know what they did or didn't do. And I put that in the book. And then I put my own experiences in there and different things that you can do to help not fall down that dark path. And that's what my life turned into. Before, it was selfish, self-centered, and it was all about John. And sometimes I'm still selfish. And sometimes I'm still self-centered. But very little compared to what I was. And my wife straightened me out right away, believe me when I tell you. So, you know, listen,
You're
just
absolutely
because
right.
you're in recovery doesn't mean you're like, oh, now I'm perfect. No, it doesn't work out that way.
So, John, you talked a lot about building these new habits and exercise. I just want to kind of give a recap just so that people can, you said it's important to set a schedule, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, 1 or 2 days a week to start, and then build it up. So set a schedule and stick to it, no matter what, right? No matter what.
Listen, if you have to change it a little bit, okay. So if you don't do 10 minutes in the morning, okay, do 10 minutes in the afternoon. You know, 10 minutes in the afternoon, do 10 minutes at night.
But don't bag it. Don't give up on it.
Don't give up on it.
Yeah.
Don't give me the baloney. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
I don't understand. No, stop. You know why you're tired? It's because you're not exercising and building up your energy and your strength.
Exactly. So set that schedule. Use a variety of things so you can avoid being bored. And also, by doing a variety of different exercises, you can learn what you like, too. You might find out you like yoga, or you might find out you like martial arts, or you might find out you like free weights. Try different things, right?
Even dancing. You could put on some music and dance. That's another form of exercise.
Not when I dance. It's not pretty.
No, well,
no, it ain't good.
That might be true. I don't know.
It's not good.
He doesn't dance with me, so I don't know what that is.
So do the variety. Avoid the boredom. Eat better. You don't have to eat perfect, but eat better. Start eating better,
Look,
right?
Simple. Stay away from sugar and processed food. Let's start with that, okay? As best
Perfect.
you can, okay? Because a lot of us are sugar junkies because we get that high. So each week, we're going to take different sections of things that you can do,
Yeah.
okay, to stay healthier and stay away from the anxiety and depression, okay, and boredom and that loneliness. All right, people say I'm lonely. Okay, we're going to talk about loneliness. We're going to talk about boredom. We're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about anxiety. We're going to talk about all the things that attack us, okay, and we're going to do our best here to give you the antidote for a lot of these things. Certain things will work for certain people. Certain things will not work for certain people. It all depends on your attitude and your gratitude for what you're doing. You know, what I always tell people is that we're always fixing the symptoms and we're not looking at the core of it, what's driving it. This show's going to be about fixing the core issue. What's driving this? Not to take a medication or put a Band-Aid on something. I don't believe in that garbage because that Band-Aid comes off and we're back to where we started again. So I hope you're listening because this show is going to help you. Believe me, I've helped thousands of people, okay? And people helped me. So I'm only giving you what I do.
Sounds good, John.
That's it.
So try it this week while you're listening to the show or after you listen to the show. Get yourself set up and start doing something different. Stay with the schedule. Eat a little bit better. Cut out some sugars. Find some fruit. Drink water. And I have to add one last thing because we keep talking about doing these things. Is sleep important?
Well,
Because
I was going to go on that to the
you're
next,
going to do
in the
that
next
next
show.
time. So we want to tell you it is important, and we're going to talk more about that. So it's not about go, go, go. But for now, get yourself on a schedule. See how that feels. See how it feels. You'll be surprised, right?
I'll tell you this. Don't believe a word we tell you. Do it. If it doesn't work for you, guess what? Don't do it.
And if it does work, thank me. No, thank John.
Thank everybody that
Thank
taught,
everybody
that
that
taught us.
That's right. Yeah, so we'll catch you next time right here on How to Beat Your Addiction and Live a Quality Life. But for now, I'm Scott Jones and John Giordano. We'll catch you next time.
And we're going to report for duty.